Hi, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. Today I've got another video for you, two H2C guards. One of them is the H2C Sprocket cover. The other is a guard for the back brake cylinder. The Sprocket guard replaces the plastic one that comes on the bike. For the rear brake master cylinder, it doesn't have a guard as standard, but it is quite exposed. So to put a bit of metal over the top to give it some protection is probably useful. Right then, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the sprocket cover with the H2C part. Two screws, one here, one underneath here. I also need to loosen the bolt for the gear sensor. I think that's what that is, because that's actually bolted through. So here goes. So to get that off, I'm just going to lift that up out of the way, and the whole thing should come off. So take the bottom bolt out all the way. Okay, so there's two pieces to this. There is the plastic piece, and then there is this metal piece at the back, which is reused. Okay, so when you take this off the bike, it is all in one piece like this, with this metal piece that is attached, and it's actually been on the bike kind of that way up, with the chain coming in and round and back out again. So you actually need to take this metal piece off. So I just nipped off the top of this little plastic, nubbin there, another one there, and that piece came off, and that is shown in here on the diagram, kind of like that. We then have a slight problem. In here it just says there's these two bolts and it bolts straight on. But if you remember, there is actually the gear sensor black bracket on the UK model, which I guess is not on the Thai model. So you can't actually reassemble it like this. So inside the plastic part, there is this silver spacer. There's also a black spacer here. Now the one you actually want is the silver one because it's slightly shorter, and that just pushes out really easily. I'm just going to do it with a screwdriver. There we go. So you need that piece. So then as this is going to go back on, if that's as you're looking at it on the bike, it's going to use one of the supplied bolts to go through the bottom hole, exactly as here. But for the top one, it's actually going to have this spacer on top of there, and then the black bracket will go through that, and then I'm going to use the original top bolt to secure that in place. So this will make more sense when you see it on the bike, but if you can see from the instructions here, they've just got a short bolt going straight through, but that won't work because there is this black piece that needs to connect to it. So I'm just using the silver spacer that came out of the plastic frame, and I'm going to put that on the bike instead. So the first piece to go in is the metal piece that came off that was on originally. I'm just going to pop that in there. So that sits in just like that. The second piece that goes in is the new H2C guard, which fits in just like that. And as you can see, there is this gap here, so you can't just put the bolt straight through that. You do need to put a spacer in. So I'm taking the longer of the two screws that came out, which was the one on the top beforehand. I think this is basically pretty much the same depth as it would have been on the plastic part. Push the new guard into place. That's through that, and then now that's into the thread on the far side. Same again, my 8mm socket just to do that up. Before it's done up all the way, I'm going to put one of the new ones in the bottom. And that one, just to be awkward, is a 4mm hex bolt, which just goes in underneath. There we go, just going to tighten everything up, and that's those two done. So that really was pretty straightforward. And I'm just going to do up the other bolt for the gear selector sensor. Great, so that's all done on this side. Round to the other side. So in here, this is the rear brake master cylinder. The new guard is just going to fit on top of these two bolts. There isn't an existing one that's on there. As you can see, it's pretty exposed, so it'd be fairly easy for a rock or something to catch that. First up, I'm just going to remove the brake cylinder. To fit this guard, it's basically going to fit over the top of there. Pretty simple, really. Comes with a fitting kit with some new bolts, and because I don't want this to come out, I'm just going to put a bit of thread lock on as I fit it. So the way this goes on, it's one of the new bolts, plus a washer through the hole, and then on the far side of that, there goes this spacer. It's an alloy spacer that comes with it, and that goes through the hole and actually into the brake itself. There we go. Now, before I do that up anymore, I'm going to put my thread lock on, and it again is a 4mm hex to do that up. Kind of the same for the lower one. Just going to pop that into there. Gonna bring that up just to get that aligned. A bit of thread lock. There we go. That's on, that's pretty solid. So that's it, that's the end of my video. I hope this has been interesting. If it has, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.